In this video, we're going to look at the newest feature added to the Game Officials module, which is called Filter Groups. Filter groups allow games and officials to be filtered by a set of groups which you define. Now, originally this was set up to handle the situation in Ontario minor hockey associations, which might have boys versus girls and having officials sanctioned by either the OMHA or the Alliance or the OWHA. However, the filter groups have been created as a flexible way for you to categorize any type of group that you want to. So to start, we're going to look at our demo site, which has no filter groups applied. We're looking at the data glance page with 3 games scheduled, including 1 non-association game. And if I were to edit the game and look at the assignment form, this is what it looks like without filter groups applied. So the first thing we do is go into the setup and settings area and then to configuration options. The last option on this page is called filter groups, which is a comma separated list of groups that you want to make available to categorize either the teams that are in the site or the officials. So for this example, we're going to use the original intention of the system, which is that we have OMHA and OWHA officials. You can have as many filter groups as you want, but as it says on this page, try to keep the names relatively short. We'll hit update, and already if I were to go back to the data glance page and edit that same game, we have a new box there for filter groups. And on clicking on that, we can now choose the filter groups. But we haven't applied these filter groups to any particular teams or officials yet, so we'll go do that right now. So in the Manage Officials area, under Officials by Position, choose any position that you like and then edit the profile for those officials. There's a new option at the bottom of the profile that allows you to check off which filter group or groups the official belongs to. And then there's a column on the page that also shows which filter group each official applies. Now we've also designed the system that if you've not applied a filter group to an official at all, then they are available to officiate a game regardless of the filter groups that are applied. So basically, again, if an official has no filter groups, then they're available for everything. So now that we have a few officials assigned to their filter groups, the next step is to go and tell the system which teams apply to which filter groups. This is also done in the setup and settings area under default settings and whatever season you're working with. Now you can set the organization-wide default for filter groups, which would then override at the category and or team level, just like all other settings in the site. For the purposes of this demo, we're going to declare that Team 1 is going to require that OMHA officials are available and that our sample non-association group requires OWHA. Now that that's set, we can go back to Data Glance and edit that first game, which has Team 1 scheduled for it. The site now the form now loads and has pre-selected OMHA as the filter group. The other thing that's happened now is that each official that's listed shows a little more space in the list, and that is to allow the filter groups for that official to be displayed next to their name in the list. And again, if an official does not have any filter groups applied, they will appear regardless of which filter group has been selected. And as an assigner, you also have the option to clear out that filter group. So if this is a suggestion, if you're using this not to declare the certification body for an official, if for example you're using it to say rep versus house league and you just wanted to find an official for the game, you can uncheck the filter group and then it will show all the officials available. If we check more games, then this will repopulate based on all the teams that are selected at that time, and again reapply those filter groups that are applied. And if there are more than one filter group applied amongst all of the games that are selected, then multiple filter groups would be then applied, and the only officials who would show up are ones that don't have any filter groups selected in their profile, or officials that have all of the filter groups that are in the list selected. From this point forward, it's the same as the officiating module has always worked. If we choose an official to assign them, it assigns them to the game. The other thing that's been added in here is if we do view all, it will then show the filter groups for the officials of all qualified officials and their blocks as far as why they're not showing in the list of officials available to be assigned. The same filter group settings that are applied for the assigner when assigning officials to a game are also applied when an official is looking at the page for finding subs or for doing swaps. The key difference there is that the officials themselves would not be able to clear out and select an official who does not apply to the filter groups applied for the game they're looking for the sub or the swap.